Now, if you've got one of these portable or countertop ice makers and you're trying to turn it on and nothing happens, it seems completely dead, there's no lights on the front, even though you've got the machine plugged into the wall, and if your socket has got a switch, you've of course remembered to turn the switch on or turn the power on. If that is the problem, it could be that the fuse inside your machine has blown, or there's something wrong with the power cable itself, or in some countries actually there's a fuse inside the plug and that could also be blown. And after watching today's video, you'll hopefully have a much better idea of how to test your power cord or the fuse, and if this is your problem, hopefully get your ice machine working again. Now, not to worry if your ice machine doesn't look exactly the same as this one. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Some of them do look a little bit different, but they are all basically the same inside. And also, there's a lot of common problems that happen with these machines. I will leave links to multiple videos that I've made covering all the common problems and how to fix them. I'll leave links to those videos at the end of this video in the description, also at the top of the comments section. So go and check those out. I'm sure you'll find them really useful. So to start off with, you need to make sure that the ice maker is completely unplugged from the power outlet. Then you can go ahead and remove the screws from the underside that hold the back cover in place, and then remove the back cover. Now you'll notice that I'm not turning the machine on its side. I'm actually just shifting it off the edge of the table to get access to the screws underneath. I think it is better not to turn these machines completely on their side or upside down. If you need to, I suppose you can tilt it slightly, but preferably try and keep it standing upright. So once the back of the machine has been removed, the main circuit board is behind this black cover. Now, on most models of ice makers, the circuit board is going to be in this area. This specific one, the back cover just clips off. There's a little clip underneath here. You kind of just pull it and then it comes off. Some models of machines might have screws that are holding on this cover. So not too sure what yours is going to have, but you just need to take the back cover off, and then you can get access to the circuit board. Now inside this black cover on the circuit board is this little white cylindrical item here, and that is the fuse, and that is what we are going to test. Now the way this works, we've got our power plug here, or our power socket, whatever you want to call it, and in South Africa we use this style of plug. It's got a live, neutral and an earth, but depending on the ice machine that you've got and where you are in the world, your plug might look a little bit different. But what's happening here is your live feeds in, and it goes through the power cord, and then eventually it enters the back of the machine and it comes up here, up this brown wire, and it goes into the board, onto the circuit board through this terminal. From this terminal, it splits up and goes into the top of this relay, and this relay then either turns on or turns off, and it sends the power directly down to the compressor. Also from this terminal, the live wire splits and it goes down and joins onto the top of the fuse, and then after the fuse, it goes through the fuse, and then it goes into the rest of the power supply circuit at the mains voltage, and then it goes through this little transformer, and then it goes into the rest of the circuit board where it's got your low voltage side. And you can kind of see that here here's roughly the split over this triangle. So the top half, top right side is the low voltage side, and the bottom left side is all the high voltage side. So anyway, what we can do is grab ourselves a multimeter. Now pretty much any multimeter should work. Plug one of the leads into the common terminal and one of the leads into the terminal that's got the little ohms sign, and on this multimeter then we are going to set it to the continuity test setting, which is this setting right here. I'll just turn that on quickly, and then we can take our two leads, grab them here, and we'll test, touch them together, and we can hear that the multimeter is beeping. So I'm just going to put that down, and it's literally in this machine we can test the fuse in circuit. So I'll show you how to do that now, but we just take one of the leads and we touch it to the top of the fuse and the other one to the bottom of the fuse, and we can hear the multimeter is beeping. So this fuse is in fact functional, or it is working, it's not blown. Now a better way to test components is to actually remove them from circuit. In this case specifically, it could be successfully measured in circuit, but as I said, a better way to do it is to remove it out of circuit. Now, this little fuse should just unclip. There we go. And if I do remove it, we take our multimeter once again and we hold it on the top of the fuse, touch it to the bottom, and we can hear the multimeter is beeping. So this fuse is still perfectly fine to use. Of course, if you did measure yours and you aren't measuring any continuity, then it might be that your fuse has blown. Now, if you are going to replace the fuse, please just replace it with the exact same type of fuse and the same rating. So this one says T3.15 AH. 250V, so 3.15 amps, 250 volts, and you can read that. I don't know if you can really see it on camera, but it's on this top metal part of the fuse. It's very small little writing, and then on the bottom it's actually just the manufacturer of the fuse. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop this back into circuit. Again, we can just blocking the view a little bit here, but we can just put that back in. Actually, just need to shift it down. Whoops. This is not really too fiddly. I'm just trying to do it and show you what's happening at the same time. There we go. Fuse is back in the circuit. So as I said, if you are going to replace it, then just replace it with the same type and rating of fuse. Now, if your fuse is actually measuring fine, that there's nothing wrong with it, it's not blown, there is a possibility that your power cord could be faulty. There could be something wrong with it. Maybe it's broken between, or there's a broken wire between the wire and the plug. Or in some cases, I think this is the case in Europe. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, just leave it in the comments. But I think that in Europe, a lot of the plugs have got a fuse inside the plug, and that fuse could also be blown. So yeah, another thing that we can do is to check the continuity or to check the power cable itself. So we'll do that in much the same way, where I'm first going to measure the live and then I'm going to measure the neutral. So we'll take one of our multimeter leads here, kind of hold it onto the live pin, and then we'll follow the wire back into the machine, and the live wire is this brown one, and it goes all the way up, and as I said previously, joins onto the circuit board there. So if I touch it onto the terminal, we can hear that the multimeter is beeping and there's continuity, so the live wire is working. We can do the same again, and we'll test the neutral wire. So there, one of the leads is on the neutral, and again I'm going to follow it up. I know in this machine it is this blue one, but you'll have to follow it in your machine, and then it joins onto the board down there. Now I don't know if you can see what's happening here, but I'm going to stick our probe in there, touch it onto the terminal, and we can hear the multimeter is beeping, so there is continuity. Now this ice machine is still working, but if your ice machine, as I said, if it's not turning on, it seems like it is completely dead, it could be that either something has gone wrong with the wire or the cord that's leading into the machine, or maybe it's the fuse that has blown. Now, if you are thinking about getting a replacement fuse and installing it into your ice maker and testing it again, just please keep this in mind. Ask yourself, why did the fuse blow in the first place? A fuse is a protective device, so it's likely that something has gone wrong on the circuit board and it's causing the fuse to blow. So if you do install a fuse, just do it once, and if it blows straight away again, then you're going to have to go further down the fault finding line to try and find out what the problem is. Please don't go and install a fuse with a higher rating, or go and install fuse after fuse after fuse, because if they carry on blowing, something is clearly wrong. Now, it's not impossible for a electricity spike to have blown the fuse, but it's more likely that something has gone wrong after the fuse on the circuit board. And if you aren't confident in fault finding with electronics, you might have to take it to a repair center, or if you've got maybe somebody that you know, a friend that can help you out that is competent with fault finding on electronics, hopefully they are able to help you out. The thing here that you've got to keep in mind is that if there's nothing obviously wrong that's happened on the board that you can see, oh, this component has exploded, or there's a burn mark or something like that, then sometimes you've got to fault find and you've got to plug the machine in while everything is exposed. If you make a mistake, this can be really very dangerous. It can kill you. This is high voltage, so if you're not confident or competent with fault finding with electricity, rather don't do that. You can just go ahead and do this basic test with the machine unplugged, and do the basic test for continuity of the fuse and the wire itself. Now, there are a couple of other very common problems that happen with these machines. Actually, there's about 20 common problems. I've got 2 separate videos on those common problems. I will link them, and hopefully they come up here on screen. So go and watch those videos. I think you'll find them very useful. Thank you very much for watching, and if you found the video useful, please hit the thumbs up button. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about these ice makers and what problems you might have experienced, and maybe you've even found solutions to those problems already. Please share those solutions with us in the comments so that everybody can learn and we can help each other out. We'll see you next time. Cheers.